Hello, how you doing? My name is Michael Cuevas. I am an agent here in Chicago, Illinois, and I close a ton of short sales, about 20 to 30 a month. I am 30 years old, and the reason why I close as many transactions as I do is not because I'm a rocket scientist or some kind of like abnormal agent on steroids or anything. I am literally just know the short sale process in and out, and I know what to discuss and what to cover, and most importantly, I know exit strategies with the short sale process. So what I'm going to show you right here is the difference between a short sale presentation versus a listing presentation, which are night and day. And let me first just go over a few details. If you're an agent right now in this market, the chances are that you're going to come across a few short sale listings, probably a little bit more than a few. Whether it's by accident or on purpose, or your regular listing turns into a short sale, it is going to come across your plate this year, especially. We are at a time in our market where there has never been so many foreclosures and or short sales, and this is very unprecedented. So none of us truly know what to expect in the upcoming months. Needless to say though, when there is a short sale present, the way you need to present the whole presentation is night and day from the way you would present a traditional listing presentation. Because what do we do on a listing presentation? Well, we usually show up to the seller's house, right? We show up with our nice little suit, our nice little shiny pens, make sure our teeth are flossed and everything's clean, and we walk them through on how knowledgeable we are in the market and how much advertising we're going to do to their house and how we're going to get this there and how big our brokerage is and how many awards I've won, how many houses I've sold. When you're doing a short sale presentation, none of that stuff matters because the seller isn't hiring you at this point because you have the largest exposure on the market, or your brokerage is the biggest, or you had X amount of sales last year. They're hiring you based on the knowledge you have on the short sale process. Short sales are a banking issue, whereas regular traditional real estate sales are totally just a regular real estate transaction. So it's very, very important that you know night and day what you should be covering on a short sale presentation just right off the bat. And I'm going to cover you the 7 steps that you need to actually cover on a short sale presentation, or you should be. Now before I get into that, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want agents to understand the difference between a short sale presentation and a listing presentation. It has gone far too long where I see too many homeowners get hurt in the long run because their agent was incompetent and didn't know what to do on the short sale process, or they never even explained it to the seller right. So I want to see it done the right way, and let's go out and get right into it. So first of all, if I'm going to a short sale presentation, the entire time I'm meeting with the seller, I'm never ever going to talk about marketing whatsoever. Me marketing the house is actually the easiest part, because what is a short sale? It's a distressed sale. So typically the price is going to go for lower than a traditional sale, or at least it should, because it is distressed in some capacity. And that is what's going to sell the property on its own. The price is going to sell the property. So my marketing is the least bit of my concern, and it's the smallest part of ammunition that I have at a short sale presentation. My biggest part of my ammunition, or my arsenal, is the knowledge that I obtain and the way I present the short sale presentation to the seller at their property or in my office. And I'm going to go over the 7 steps, and you're going to see I'm not going to talk about anything. So first thing I cover on a short sale presentation is that particular state's foreclosure timeline. All right. Many of the borrowers you're going to come across are going to be in some sort of position where they're already late on payments, or they're in foreclosure, or they're about to be, if it is a short sale situation. You need to understand that the foreclosure timeline plays a super, super important impact on your particular transaction. Because when you're facing a short sale, the foreclosure timeline is the timeline on your listing agreement. So for example, if I have a client who is going to be foreclosed on in 1 month, don't you think it's important for me to relay that information over to a client, because I hold a fiduciary to my client to give them the most competent advice on their scenario? Or is this something that I would not even cover? You must cover the foreclosure timeline, and you must know your state's very specific timeline. Is your state a judicial state? Is it a non-judicial state? Is your state a recourse state, and is it a non-recourse state? And what does that mean for the seller? So the foreclosure timeline per your particular state is something that you always have to cover, because based on where the property is at in the foreclosure process, if in fact it's in foreclosure, is so important because that's how you're going to structure your deal from the very beginning. It's little things like these that are going to wow your sellers and get you every single short sale presentation, because 99% of the other agents do not know what I'm about to show you. All right? 2, what else do I cover? The liens and mortgages. This is the part that makes my head spin because of the amount of agents out there that have no idea the difference liens or mortgages attached to a borrower's property and how they affect a transaction. So for example, what's the difference between a first mortgage and a true purchase money second mortgage? How about a home equity line of credit? Did you know that a home equity line of credit, if the property went all the way to foreclosure, the rights to collect on that would not cease to exist? Absolutely, you must know this stuff, because again, I argue that you're in violation of your fiduciary duty to the seller should you take on a short sale listing and not know the difference between the types of liens and mortgages and how they're all affected within the foreclosure timeline. Now, more importantly is that your seller and you are going to be able to plan the whole short sale process with exit strategies in the beginning based on what their liens and mortgages and home equity lines of credit are on the property, if any. This alone is the most important part to structuring a short sale deal. And just by knowing how these liens and mortgages interact with one another, you'll be 10 steps ahead of your competition and you will get the listing. But it is definitely the second step to cover in a short sale presentation so that you and the seller can analyze the deal together. Now, you walk the seller through their foreclosure timeline, the difference between their liens and mortgages and how they're going to interact at a possible foreclosure and or short sale. And now you need to talk about the short sale package, or what is involved in the short sale package. Short sale package, by now it's 2010. I'm sure many of you are familiar with what actually goes into a short sale package, but this is the hardship letter, the authorization letter, last 2 months bank statements or checking account statements, last 2 year tax returns, 1 month's pay stubs, financial worksheet. This is all the stuff that needs to be gathered to send into the bank to initiate the foreclosure or the short sale process. It's very important to cover over with your clients for very simple reasons. I mean, you're basically telling them, hey, besides you signing this listing agreement, I also need you to give me this stuff so I can start the short sale process. So again, this part is pretty simple. Most of the local boards in your area probably have a class, just what goes in a short sale package. However, the way you present it can be a make it or break it for your particular deal. So it's definitely the third thing that you need to cover in a short sale process or short sale presentation. Number 4, the short sale process. All right, great. I get the foreclosure, I get the liens and mortgages, I know what I have to put together once I actually want to get started on my short sale. But once I get started on my short sale, what happens after that? What are the steps the bank takes? What are the 3 stages of the short sale process? How long is it going to take me? How long am I going to take for it to close? And what are certain key components that I should be aware of, or you should make your seller aware of, that is going to entail in the short sale process? Again, night and day, my teeth cringe when I hear this stuff, because how many agents out there think they know the entire short sale process front to back? You know, are you one of the short sale agents that have been doing short sales since the 90s and you know everything and you never took time to learn anything? Or have you really done your homework? You know, have you really seen what goes into the short sale process? Did you know that only 24% of short sales actually close nationwide? Well, it's a very simple reason for that. There's a reason why I close over 90% of my short sales and why the rest of the industry only closes 24%. And it's because I understand the short sale process and everything I spoke to you about well enough where I have my deals planned way ahead of time. That's why I close as many transactions as I do, and it's all because of just obtaining the knowledge. And this little knowledge that I'm showing you right now, I hope is opening your eyes to a whole nother world that is out there in the real estate market, and it's the distressed market. Me in particular, I do short sales. So yes, you want to explain the short sale process to the seller so you can set their expectations. You can let them know what's going to happen. You can let them know what to do next, when to plan for what. Let them know when they should plan on moving. All that stuff is very, very important. Number 5, deficiency judgments. This is by far the most important part of any short sale presentation because it's the part that matters most to the seller, your client. And basically, you know, deficiency judgments, what does that mean? Well, if you're doing a short sale, somebody's not getting paid in full, and that is the bank. And what you need to know is, how does the bank handle the lost amount of money, or otherwise known as the deficiency amount? What does the bank do with the deficiencies? This is what every seller is going to want to know. This is what every seller is eyes are going to open wide, and they're going to pay attention to you super, super close, because this is what matters. What's going to happen to the seller after the short sale closes? Are they liable for the difference, or are they not liable for the difference? How do banks handle the losses? Will the seller get a 1099? Will the seller be chased for a 1099? You need to know what type of arrangement the bank is going to arrange with the seller. Now, if you do short sales the right way, you'll be very surprised to know that over 90% of at least on our files, the seller walks away with no financial liabilities whatsoever. But you need to know how to handle counters from banks on short sales, such as promissory notes, cash contributions, all that other stuff. And you need to know when banks are more than likely able or more than likely going to ask for the seller to sign a promissory note or do a cash contribution or whatnot. And if you know this stuff, your short sale presentations go so smooth. 6, well, what about the sellers who want to file bankruptcy? Short sale versus bankruptcy. Does that have an effect? If I file bankruptcy, do I need to do a short sale? You bet your ass you do. You absolutely should. However, there's so much bad advice that is conflicting with what I just told you. What is the difference between short sale and bankruptcy and all that? You're going to have a lot of these questions on a short sale presentation. Secondly is, what are the effects of my credit? This is the #1 question you're going to be asked on a short sale. Most borrowers, again, can be ill-advised to what the truth is to the effects of their credit. How does the bank report the credit on the short sale, and what effect does that actually have for the seller of the property? All right, super important stuff. The final point I always cover with a seller is, what are your other alternatives to foreclosure? You know, a short sale is not going to be for everybody. In this market, you see it's going to be for the vast majority of people. However, there are going to be some other alternatives available to that seller. And you as an agent should have a fiduciary to at least advise them or let them know of all their alternatives prior to ever taking any short sale listing. So it is the final and last step that you cover. Now, I just gave you the 7 components to my short sale process that I don't give anybody. And again, I want people to be educated on the process just so that they know what they're doing. Believe it or not, I did not talk about one thing about marketing. I did not talk about my office. I didn't talk about how shiny my teeth are, and I never even had to mention that I close 20 to 30 transactions a month. But I guarantee you that I will be walking away with the listing just because I know all of this stuff. Now, believe it or not, this can all be done in 45 minutes to an hour, and the seller will be walking away feeling way better about the fact that they met with someone like yourself who's competent, that can explain all this stuff to them better than any attorney, any other type of counselor or financial advisor out there. And it is our job as agents to portray the right information over to the sellers, because yes, we may be doing this one house at a time, but let's face it, every short sale that we close, we are actually pitching in and helping our economy recover, as well as the housing market. So hence the reason for doing this. But this is a short sale presentation, super important stuff. I hope this opened your eyes for a few things, and if you want to see more on the actual foreclosure timeline, the ins and outs of all this, I want you to catch my next webinar. All right, so thank you very much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.